Hi guys, this is me, Michaela. So I'm here with a video on shadow work. I got my notebook here and I got my iPad and we are ready to go. So it's gonna be a very vulnerable video for me, but it has to be done because the only way forward is through. So some facts about me going in: I'm clairvoyant, clairaudient, claircognate, and sentience. Sorry, that's the one I always forget. I'm also a healer. I can work with the upper realm and practice healing, spiritual healing on people like Reiki, as well as light language, which is something that I'm a little nervous to get into because it sounds crazy, but you know, it what does wonders for me. It's helped a lot with my anxiety. It's helped a lot with my depression. I also am a medium. I can communicate with passed on souls that are no longer here. So yeah, it's a brand new world for me. But in order to be able to embrace that world, I have to go through my shadow, and I need to figure out what it is that I need to go about. So I've already done 6 or 5 questions. I'm gonna do the rest just by saying it from my memory. The first question is, what cliche makes your stomach turn and why? Is it the inaccuracy or is the accuracy that bothers you? Well, for me, what I wrote is everyone is real until you catch them being fake. This bothers me because it's accurate. You know, one of my toughest lessons that I've had to learn is that not everybody has a heart that's pure. And unfortunately, a big part of my shadow was trusting and confiding in people who did not have those good intentions. So, question number 2, what irrational fears do I have and what sort of blocks do they cause? My past and current life leaves me feeling as though I'm not good enough, or that no matter how hard I try, I can't do it the way people expect it from me. And this is what really keeps me from moving forward. This is the fear that I have of spreading my wings just because somebody might not agree or somebody might leave. You know, it's really about not allowing people to have that type of power over me, because it's really like a prison, kind of. It's, you know, it's good to feel that freedom in yourself and that confidence within yourself that you are doing what's best for you. And cutting out all the rest of the noise has been one of the biggest hurdles for me that I'm finally getting over. Question number 3, in what ways am I inauthentic? I like to claim that I'm the goody two-shoe girl, but really I you know, being inauthentic of presenting myself as this angel child when, you know, my shadow self, I've done a lot of things that I regret, and things that I did that hurt other people. I definitely have a lot of regret in my heart for that. So being inauthentic and claiming that I'm the angel golden child, that's very inauthentic of me, because I know what I'm capable of, and although I steer away from that, I still know that I'm capable of it. And I was having an interesting conversation last night with my Auntie Jackie. Sorry, the garbage man. But I was having a conversation with my Auntie Jackie the other day, and she told me that she asked me, is like, do you believe that it's good to be both light and dark? And I said, yeah, because at the end of the day, we're not perfect. We're human, and we are going to fail, and we are going to mess up sometimes in life, because us as emotional balls of flesh, we sometimes lose touch with our soul like I did for most of my life. I realized that this shadow was created when I left the Kingdom Hall and when I started going to Cuba and I started dating my ex. Things from there really set me off track. Now, that's not to say that I regret it, because it's brought me here, and I know I wouldn't have gotten here if it wasn't for them teaching me what I needed to learn from them about myself. And yeah. Question number 4. Do I hold grudges that can be let go, and why do I hold them? Yeah, I hold a lot of grudges. I hold a lot of grudges against my family, because subconsciously, you know, I put them at the forefront of the source of my pain, which is not true. You know, they have their own faults. They are also light and dark as well, and they have their own journeys to follow. And sometimes, just because someone treats you a certain way doesn't necessarily make them a bad person. And this is by no means saying that my family are bad people, because my family, at the end of the day, they're human like me, and some things that they don't understand, they don't accept, and I respect that, which is why I left, which is why I ended up coming back to my mom's house temporarily, so that I would be able to practice this and to speak one-on-one with the Creator and have that room to grow without disrespecting them within their household. Question number 5. Have you ever hurt someone unintentionally? And is there ways that you can be more compassionate? Yeah, I can definitely be more compassionate, understanding that I'm not the only person in the world, and that a lot of the people that I've hurt are waiting for answers as to why, you know. And my simple answer is that I realized that me projecting my pain onto other people was hurting them in the process, and it was disrespectful of them, and for that I apologize to anybody who's ever felt that I've taken advantage of you. Please, I apologize. Now's the time for me really to own up to who I am. It's obvious that now, as the time goes and things progressively start getting worse closer to the time of the ends, it's really, really, really crucial for me to be honest with myself, so that, you know, I can please the Creator and fulfill the duty that He has sent me out for. Okay, so now we're going to start with the questions of just from the head. Number 6. What rules do you intentionally break? What is your reason for breaking them? Are you truly justified to break these rules? This is kind of an open question, because everybody has their own idea of what rules are for them as the individuals they are. And me coming in to who I am and working on my shadow self to become whole, I realized that it was necessary for me to break my old rules in order to create the new ones, so that I can be more stable. Intentionally, I don't like to break rules. I like to, and it's not, it kind of ties into, oh, you're such a good girl. It's like, no, I'm smart. No, I'm smart. I know how to keep myself out of trouble, lay low and be a mystery, so that I can focus on myself and get what I need to get done. You know, you're not going to be getting anywhere if you're out breaking your own rules and the world's rules. So I'd say that definitely another inauthentic thing for me is being a kiss ass, which stems from, you know, the trauma of not believing that I'm good enough. Yeah. Do I have any fetishes and kinks that stem from issues in your past? Do they liberate or hinder your healing process? Fetishes and kinks, I wouldn't say, I'd say that I go for men who are unemotionally available, and I find that I like to invest my time in people that need to be fixed, or how I used to perceive as fixed before, because I saw something within them that I needed to fix within myself. And that's how I realized that a lot of relationships fail, because we go into these relationships with an idea instead of going for love. You know, we go for a motive, and that's something that I've learned a lot from my family, is that not everything needs a motive. I've learned from the experience with them that, you know, despite saying that you need people for different reasons, yeah, that's true to an extent, but that's being inauthentic. And you know, that's why for me, I don't have many friends, because I'm not the type of person that can like sit in the middle. You know, I have to either be all in or nothing at all, because it just seems very ingenuine to me. It makes sense in this world, in the world that we've created. Yeah, it makes sense. But in reality, God created us in love, in the image of love. But the reason why we put these borders up between people is because we're afraid of them. We're afraid of ourselves. And, you know, for me, it's very crucial for me. I'd rather be alone than with people that don't actually care about me, you know? Think of a time someone broke your heart. In what ways may have you been responsible as well? Yeah, that ties into what I said about me projecting pain onto others. Yeah, I think that when somebody hurts me, I react in a way where I turn to a stone and I try and be as ruthless as possible. And, you know, it's kind of just like hurting myself more than it hurt other people. It's like, I told my Nana the other week, you know, it's like swallowing poison and expecting the other person to die, kind of thing. And I think that my fear of getting hurt, you know, especially the relationships that followed after my first relationship, my first ex, all of the relationships kind of followed within the image of him, and it ruined them because the insecurity in me was so high. You know, he made me feel so incredibly insecure. But now I'm working on that. That's why I'm doing this work, because, you know, I'm not going to be getting ahead if I don't. So, how often do you lie to yourself? In what ways are you in denial? I realize now that I've awakened to my intuition that I lie to myself a lot. I lie to myself a lot about a lot of things, and especially about myself. You know, at first, my intuition was very confused with my fear, my ego. I was hearing things that I wanted the spirits to tell me, and it came to the point where they got a little bit rough with me and kind of said, listen, this is not how it's supposed to be, and kind of forced me to face the truth of myself by reuniting with a bunch of people from my past. You know, over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've ran into 6 people from my past, from Air Canada, from college, from high school, from public school, even down to my first boyfriend in grade 6. He called me because I was applying for an acting program, and he was the one who answered. So it's just, you know, Jehovah has been sending, or the Creator has been sending me these, I'm gonna say Jehovah, yeah, has been sending me these people to show me almost like stages of who I was, and giving me the reflections of my past selves in order to look at myself now and realize just how far I've come, and to realize how much I do lie to myself and do stand in denial. And, they really have gotten through to me that denial is not going to get me anywhere. It's just going to keep on delaying the process. And as long as I keep on avoiding this, I'm going to continue asking for the rest of my life. Why? And I'd rather face the pain and get it over with and live and be my best self, and then reap the rewards of it. Hi guys, sorry, I got a phone call. Okay, so the next question is, what is the biggest promise to yourself that you have broken? Do you regret it? The biggest promise that I broke to myself, when I was younger, I swore that I would never drink, I would never smoke, I would never do any of that stuff. But unfortunately, that was a promise that I broke. And there's a lot of ways that I regret things that I've done, but it's really important for me to remember that these are things that I've done, and it's not who I am. Where I am, what I've done is not who I am. It's my fear. Every person who's out here doing wrong is doing it at a place of ego or fear. It doesn't say anything about who they are. It just shows what they're feeling inside, which is why, back to the cliche of everyone's fake until everybody's real until you catch them being fake. That's really of no fault of their own, because it's like, when you think about it, you have to ask yourself why. I can never look at somebody's actions and judge them for it, because there's a reason for everything. And even if there is no reason, there's a lesson there. And sometimes it's just allowing people to do what they have to learn by themselves, especially for me, because I've come to know that I don't learn from anybody but myself. And that's something that I say because it's something that I've grown to learn and understand about myself over the years. It's the reason why I struggled so much in school. It's the reason why whenever I would go to the Kingdom Hall, I would always be questioning and going in depth and analyzing everything. I was always known to be the first one with my hand up with the 10-minute long answers to the question at the Kingdom Hall. In what ways am I privileged? How often do you take things for granted? I have a roof over my head. I have good health. And I have a God that loves me. That's how I'm privileged. And it's very easy to take that for granted, because I don't realize that I'm never alone. Sometimes I get caught up in my loneliness, but then I realize I'm not alone. I take for granted the gift of being able to communicate with the higher realm sometimes, of the fear of what people are going to think of it, whether they're going to think I'm evil, whether they're going to think that I'm working with demons. I can promise you I'm not working with any demons. I think that magic is something that is selective. I think that where your intention goes, energy flows. I think that if you're leaning on the divinity of something, and if you're trusting in the higher powers, there's a feather. If you're leaning on the higher powers to provide you with the guidance to go about whatever your practice is, and you're praying to the right gods, and you're praying to the correct angels, and not praying to the darker entities, then I think that there is nothing wrong with that, because you are dealing with God himself, and he is the one who is able to tell you, because you know what? It's impossible for me to be able to do this without him knowing, because I can tell the difference between a dark entity and a pure one. I can tell the difference between the devil and God. I can tell the difference between Jesus and Virgin Mary and Prophet Muhammad. And there's every deity has very specific energy, which is how I'm able to pinpoint what is coming through. There's a lot of people that have had a lot of grudges against me. The the spirits have been helping me to rid myself actually of that black magic that other people. And now black magic doesn't necessarily have to be magic. Like in the movies, it could be words. Words manifest. Everything you say manifests. You know, whatever you say comes to fruition. So if you say this person's this, then that person's going to believe that about themselves. If you say this person's crazy, then that person is going to believe they're crazy. Words are curses, and we don't realize how much power they have until they're spoken, regardless of whether you're chanting a song or over a pot of whatever, you know. All that is just fiction. Well, people can practice it in that way if they want to. Like I said, where intention goes, energy flows. But for me, I carry around the Bible with me everywhere I go. I carry my crystals with me everywhere I go. I'm going to show you them. You see the energy coming? Yeah. So for me, I think that the Alpha. I definitely believe that everybody has the right to feel how they want to, which is why I'm allowing my family and respecting them by keeping my distance. Because I understand that there's things that people don't truly understand and that they're not comfortable with, and that's okay. That's completely okay. Just know that there's only love there, only pure intentions when it comes to my family. I am doing this at the end of the day to help humanity, starting with my family. And regardless of whether they are there or not, I'm doing it because I'm here to break the generational curses that have plagued my family for years on both sides. There's so many issues, so much division within, specifically my mom's side of the family. And there's a lot of darkness there. And it's my job to clear that. It's my job to clear that. Think of past dreams you have done or inappropriate things. I've been dreaming about my awakening probably my whole life. I have had this dream recurringly every 6 months since I was 4, where I would just wake up. I would be in this room, this white room, and all of a sudden it would turn dark. And then when it would turn dark, I'd feel this overwhelming sense of falling. And then I would wake up. So basically, the way they perceived it to me was, before it was just like, oh, a dream of falling. But now that I think about it, you know, that white room was me kind of isolating and discovering my abilities. Then the free fall in the darkness was the dark night of the soul that I am just getting out of now. And then when I woke up, you wake up, and that's it. That's the awakening. I think that my dreams have been trying to forewarn me about people in my life. And I was never the type of person to put any specific meaning towards it. But now that I look back on it and the events that have happened, and the events that have happened, I definitely understand the meaning of it better now. Okay. What emotion do I try to avoid? I try to avoid love. I try to avoid love because I've been so broken by love that I'm a little bit cold now. I'm a little bit numb. I find that whatever is the highest energy in the room that I'm at, I find that is the energy that I feel. So that's why for me it's very important for me to be around the right people or to be alone, because my behavior is influenced by the energy of others. very heavy, especially if somebody has a certain darkness to them, someone who's not balanced in their light and dark. That's why for me, like, going out in public is difficult, because especially on the bus, I can't stand the bus or the subway, because it's like there's so many different energies in there that I can it's just overwhelming. And sometimes it gets so bad that I have to step off the bus because I can't focus. And people always wonder, why is she zoning out, or why is she like anxious all of a sudden, like she was fine like 2 minutes ago. It's because somebody in that room, or your energy changed, and I'm reacting to it. What has fear held you back from? Do you blame yourself or others? Yeah, fear has held me back from love. Fear has held me back from love and living and doing the things that I want to do that scare me. I used to blame others for it. I used to say, oh, that person's behavior, that's why this happened, because this person did that. But I really took a chance to look at my own actions, and realize what exactly was happening to me, what I was doing to myself, what I was doing to others. I became so hard, cold as ice, that I could literally walk up to anybody in their face and feel no ways about it. And that's dangerous because sometimes I think that I'm bigger than I am, which I'm not. I'm human like all of you guys. And that will never, ever, ever change. And I will never let go of that. If anything, since this whole process has started, it's reminding me of how human I am, how vulnerable I am right now. But the best things come from vulnerability. What fictional villain, anti-hero do you most relate to? Elena Gilbert. Elena Gilbert for sure. What aspect? She's like I'm the hero. Oh no, I can't. It's like always sacrificing herself for everybody and falling hard as shit, but getting up anyway. And just that kind-hearted, determined, steel-like faith within myself and within her. I really relate to that. Actually, that's kind of funny because my twin flame reminds me of Damon. What friendships, relationships do you hold on to that are unhealthy? I hold on to a lot of relationships that I felt I needed for like a safety belt. And that's what friends are for. But to the extent that I took it to the point where I couldn't make any decisions on my own, almost every single relationship I've had is like that, which is why nobody is in my life right now, because all of those relationships were inauthentic. All of them. Every single one of them was inauthentic. Every single relationship that I've had, I was trying to reach a certain expectation that those people wanted me to meet. And that's why it got so confusing, because everybody was telling me to go in every different way, and I got confused. And then I got, people would think that, well, this girl she can't hold her own, she can't hold a job, she can't do this. It's like, no, it's not that I can't do it, it's that I don't want to do it. And I literally cannot do anything if I don't want to do it, because if it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't feel aligned with who I am, then I can't do it. I'm sorry, it just is what it is. I would rather be broke the rest of my life. If I'm prepared to live a simple, minimalistic life, if I have to, because at the end of the day, it's not money that matters. Money is important to survive, yes, and I have the basics for survival. However, money is not going to solve your sadness. Money is not going to fix your broken health, your broken heart. It's not going to fix your broken soul. It's going to build up that fear and ego, because the less money you have, and the more the money the more the money comes in, the more you want more. And that's a problem. That's a problem, because that's where people get taken over. That they're literally do anything. They would literally do anything. And that's why I understand the importance of what my grandma and my family would say: you shouldn't miss meetings, because it's literally what you're prioritizing, you know? Money at the end of the day, God is forever, and he's in control, but money is not. Money is controlled by man. Money is a man-made thing, you know? And I think that chasing that isn't healthy for me. It's unfortunately, I'm not going to force myself to stay at a toxic job where the energy is toxic and there's no rest, where you have to prioritize your work over food and water, or even going to the bathroom, you know, being worked to the ground, you know, being so overworked to the point where you don't even know who you are anymore. All you care about is where you're working, and all you care about is work. But that's not life, man. That's not life at all. That's the fear of being without. That's the fear of feeling like you're lacking something. We all need to understand that within ourselves we are whole, and that the only thing that we need is a roof over our head and the air we breathe. And unfortunately, we're ruining that. We're ruining that too. There's a really big mass awakening that is going to be happening, especially with the locusts in Africa and Somalia, especially with the coronavirus. There are a lot of things happening that have already been prophesized, guys. There's a lot of things that have been happening. All you have to do is open to Revelation. But when God is telling you that there's a way that you can avoid that, falling under that fear, falling into that ego of the world, being so deathly scared of this earth that God created for us. Think about it, guys. Why is this earth here? Why are we here? Think about it. Why are we here? What is the purpose? To make... Sorry, guys, got another phone call in there. That was a little bit of a tyrant, but a relevant one. I am going to continue with the shadow aspects now. Okay, so where were we? I gotta remember where we were. Okay. In what ways are you hypocritical? Do you break your own rules of conduct? Yeah. I'm hypocritical in a lot of ways. There's a lot of things that I tell people that they're doing wrong, but fail to realize I'm doing them myself. Which is why I'm doing this shadow work publicly, because it doesn't seem fair to the people that I've crossed paths with to keep this to myself, because I find that there is a lot of confusion around me, and people, question me because of the fact that I'm so, I guess you can say, mysterious. I keep a really good wall up. Because I'm terrified of getting hurt. But now I really want to embrace that fear. I want to own myself, be honest, open on this camera with whoever is guided to watch this video, because those are probably the ones who are willing to hear me, and I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I break my own rules of conduct. Yesterday I said that I would quit smoke. Yesterday I quit weed already, and I quit smoking cigarettes, but I said that I would quit smoking the vape. So that in itself for me is hypocritical. I think that being patient with myself is key right now. A lot of people can judge me for my mistakes, but that doesn't mean that I have to. That doesn't mean that I have to judge myself. Thanks for the confirmation. So I'm just taking it day by day. Yeah, I have my vape. This is Rachel's vape. I threw out my other vape, but for now I'm just going to use Rachel until I'm ready to step away. What are things you could absolutely never forgive if someone did to you? Have you done any of these things to others? To be honest, there isn't really much that I could never forgive someone for, because I am a very forgivable person. Actually, that's my biggest strength and my biggest weakness. You know, I see deep within every person I meet, which is why I've met so many special people and sat with them and provided them with something, a memory that they won't forget, because I'm always guided to give some sort of guidance based on whatever somebody's feeling, just to kind of make them feel more comfortable, you know, not even sometimes around me, because I'm told that I'm a little bit intimidating, but also within themselves, you know, like at Air Canada, I was known for that. I was the one who was always running around making everybody feel happy, smiling bright, big. And even though that it's confusing, because that part of me was authentic, but also inauthentic, because I felt like I had to maintain that cheerfulness in order to be accepted. Yeah. Next question. What are my bad habits? Why don't you break them? I procrastinate a lot. Even to do this video, before I filmed this video, I sat in my bed for like 2 hours debating on doing this video. If you could get rid of one memory, which one would it be? I think if I could get rid of any memory, my old self would have said my whole life. You know, my old self would have said, delete the whole file. Just let's start over. But that was the part of me that was afraid of myself. That was the part of me that was literally surrounded by her ego. And yeah, I don't think now that I would change anything, you know, because I realize that everything happens for a reason. I know I haven't been the best human being around, and I'm not going to deny that. And I genuinely am repentful to every single person that has been affected by me along the way, along my fall from grace and my rise from the ashes. I apologize for that. I really do. But the thing is that, you know, it's like I can't allow myself to feel some type of way about it, because, you know, I'm living my life. I'm living for me. You know, things are not perfect, and there's a lot of things that are uncertain. But again, I have complete and utter faith in my Creator. I know He's never failed me up to this point. A lot of people ask, how has Michaela done all this and got away unscathed? Or why did she get to walk away like nothing happened? Because I repent for my sins. I repent. When I'm alone in my room at night, I cry and beg Jehovah to please forgive me for my sins. And He does, because I put in the work. You know, instead of just praying, I actually put in the work. I read my Bible. I study spirituality. I study religions. I study myself through my cards. Yeah, that was all the questions, guys. If you're still here, thank you. It's a long video. It's not necessarily for views. It's more just for me to really put the shadow work into effect and to realize that I am okay and that I am all right and that everything is fine, despite the fact that everything around me is going up in flames. I'm like Homer Simpson, sitting in the bar that's on fire, just chilling, drinking a beer, because I know that regardless of what's happening, I know who loves me, and that's Jehovah. And I thank Him every single day, you know. And He's telling me to say that, not to feel disrespected by me saying that. Because the relationship with Jehovah doesn't stem from a building, it stems from the heart. It doesn't stem from going and surrendering to a podium, but getting that access within yourself, to surrender within yourself in order to truly come to that full ascension. The ascension process is never done, but you know, to come to that peak where you are at your level, and you do have an understanding of what you are and who you are. Now, let's not get this twisted. I'm still learning. There's a lot of things that I still have to learn, and even though I am able to practice, there's still a lot of things about myself that I need to learn to unlock certain things and other gifts that I have. So guys, all good intentions. I wish you nothing but peace and love. Pura vida siempre. Beso.